Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's virtual training session. Today, we're going to talk about workplace safety, and we got to believe that it's got to be safe for everyone. Now, when we talk about everyone being safe, you got to remember you need to look out for your coworkers' habits. This is not just fun and games. One thing we haven't had to deal with is substance abuse, and we need to make sure everybody's aware that substance abuse is a chronic and debilitating condition that can lead to serious negative consequences. People who are using drugs or alcohol have difficulty controlling their use, even though it causes serious problems in their lives. Many of these people experience problems. It could be work related, could be job loss, could be family problems, seasonal depression. We're just coming off of the happy holidays and it's cold and it's dark and it's windy and there's not a lot of light. So, seasonal depression. Maybe there's financial issues. Could be that there's been an accident or an injury. Sometimes it's physical, other times there could be mental issues. We need to be 100% aware, not only you, but everybody on your crew. We work with hydraulic equipment, we work from heights, we've got to deal with traffic getting to and from the job sites, and some of us must work in confined spaces. Sometimes there's trench work involved. And always, whether you're aerial or underground, we work near power lines. So we need to depend on our coworkers to help keep us safe. So we need to have our heads screwed on straight. There's a lot of things that can happen to us out there. We're in a lot of hazardous conditions. We need to make sure that we're operating our equipment properly, we're driving good, and we need to worry about other hazards from, you know, power lines, poles, and other things being down. We have some big trucks rolling down the road. We got like 550 bucket trucks and the like. Uh, and believe me, they can cause a lot of damage to these other small personal vehicles. This incident here, luckily, it wasn't our company, but still, 3 people were killed in this incident involving a bucket truck. Now, this did happen to one of our OBUs. Uh, and you can see the damage that was done to this vehicle. Apparently, the person was using something. Also, he was drinking on the job. He did have a coworker with him who was trying to get him to stop, and this just made him go wilder and wilder. And he was driving out in the field, and finally it got out of control, and the rear end of the truck made contact with a very large tree, which wasn't very forgiving. We want to make sure we have a drug and alcohol free workplace. So we do have drug and alcohol testing. In an effort to eliminate alcohol and drug use in the company fleet, the company may require employees to submit to alcohol or drug testing under the following circumstances. Typically, the first time will be within 48 hours of receiving an employment offer, immediately after the employee is involved in or whose actions or inactions contributed to an on-job injury or accident resulting in damage to persons, materials, vehicles, or fleet. When the company has reasonable suspicion based on observable characteristics, change in behavior, or other information that the employee may be in violation of this section. Random or periodic drug tests in accordance with state law. Verita Telecommunication reserves the right to search anywhere in the Verita Telecommunications fleet where there is reasonable belief that this policy is being violated. The employee's refusal to submit to any reasonable investigations is grounds for discipline up to and including termination. Primary safety policies. All employees are expected to adhere to the following. Proper safety equipment is expected to be used at all times. Proper clothing and boots are expected to be worn at all times. Alertness while on the job is expected at all times. Do not use or perform work with equipment that you have not been trained to use. Make sure you've gone over the equipment with somebody so that you know the secondary controls, emergency stops, and everything else like that. Now, when returning to work after you've been ill or you've been unfit, you may require a physician's release. Most places require a note from the doctor after being gone for 3 days from work. Promptly report unsafe working conditions, equipment, or practices to a supervisor. Promptly report all incidents to a supervisor, regardless how minor the incident. You never know how one little thing can just blow up, and we need to have the documentation. And of course, under no circumstances may any motor vehicle be operated under the influence of alcohol, drugs, prescription drugs, even some over-the-counter medications that may impair driving skills. These may cause drowsiness or other side effects that could lead to personal injury or injury to coworkers. Employees that require assistance should defer to a VTC member rather than a member of the public unless it's an emergency. So if you're having problems, talk to a coworker. Let's keep it in-house. Of course, horseplay of any type is prohibited on the job site, and employees must attend the required safety training. Random drug testing. You may be subject to unannounced random drug and alcohol testing consistent with applicable state, federal, and local law. The company shall determine the random selection process to be used. If you refuse to submit to a request for a random drug and/or alcohol test, you will be considered to have a positive test result. We also have reasonable suspicion testing. You may be subject to drug and alcohol testing if you are suspected of reporting to work or working under the influence of alcohol or drugs. You may be subjected to testing if observable characteristics or changes in behavior exist to indicate that you may be under the influence of alcohol or drugs. These may include, but not limited to, the following: slurred speech, uneven gait, impaired mental or physical functions, inability to focus, extremely dilated pupils, smell of alcohol, evidence of drugs or alcohol about your person or in your work vicinity, or negative performance patterns. Post-incident testing will be conducted when the employee is involved in or whose actions or inactions contribute to situations involving any of the following: bodily injury that requires immediate medical treatment beyond minor first aid, a fatality, incident that results in material fleet damage, an accident that involves company equipment or vehicles, a near-miss incident that could have resulted in injury or material fleet damage. Now, the testing procedure: employees required to submit to testing will be transported to an off-site medical facility. The collection, shipment, and chain of custody and retention procedures for blood and urine samples will be in accordance with procedures established by applicable government agencies. The test results will be maintained as part of the employee's confidential medical record. Employees will not be allowed to return to work until a negative result is reported to the company by the treatment clinic. Positive results are cause for immediate termination of employment. You should know the signs that when a coworker is struggling with abuse. If they're using drugs or alcohol, you may notice some general physical, psychological, or behavioral changes. Physical: your colleague may show signs of active intoxication or acute substance withdrawal at work, such as smelling of alcohol, glassy or bloodshot eyes, small or enlarged pupils, runny nose, appearing tired, even to the point of falling asleep. Sometimes it may be psychological. If your coworker is intoxicated at work, they may show the following: they may be more anxious or depressed than usual, lonely or sad, disoriented, paranoid, agitated, moodier than normal, fluctuating between highs and lows. Now, you work with these people every day, and if you see changes in their psyche, all of a sudden they're not working with the group, they seem to be pulling away from everybody, something's going on. We work better as a team. All together, everybody knows their part. So when somebody starts drifting off, we need to find out what's going on with them. There could be behavioral changes. An employee who are abusing substances may demonstrate concerning behaviors at work, such as disappearing for periods of time, working unusual hours, excessive lateness, poor job performance, conflicts at work, or increasing isolation from peers. Again, we work better as a team together. When we see somebody's in trouble, we want to help them out. But you're not going to help them out if you're going to be an enabler. An enabler is going to be making excuses or covering up for the employee, loading the money to the employee, allowing someone else to call out sick for the employee, allowing other employees to pick up the person's workload, excusing the employee's absence or lateness, not taking steps to report or address the employee's substance abuse. Now, the employee can seek confidential help. We do have an employee assistance program from Mutual of Omaha. The phone number is right there. So when things start getting a little bit too much for someone, they do have somebody to talk to. So they have less time about worrying about the challenges in their life, and they can get back to being a productive worker. Now, the employee assistance program, there is an in-house team of professionals that are available 24/7, 365. Um, you're allowed up to 3 calls per year per household, and you can speak with an in-house master level EAP professional, and they'll provide you with tools and other people you need to talk to and help to get you better. The hotline is a 1-800 number, and again, they are always there, always available. They You can speak to them in more than 120 different languages if you need to. And of course, there is an online submission, so you can be a little bit more private about this. Now, what should you do if you think somebody is using? Remember, your safety is most important. So do not confront the person. When they're out of sight, text your manager. Stay at this location until the manager arrives, and when the manager or supervisor, they will drive them to the clinic. Don't allow them to go to the vehicle. Take immediate action if the employee is putting him or herself or others in danger. If the employee operates heavy machinery or has access to weapons, restrict the employee from these activities immediately. We want to keep everybody safe, and we want to keep working with keep our coworkers safe. Thank you.